was a story I was meant to be breaking last week, but congratulations to Leo Puglisi of 6 News, who broke it earlier this evening at 2:14 p.m. He asked the question, hearing some rumours the national director may have left, and he confirmed it by 2:34. He'd found a source. He'd already been a source that wasn't me or anyone I knew, angrily enough, because I would have loved to have broke this story when I spoke to Craig about this last Tuesday, when I heard about this, because this is in fact as well spotted by 6 News. Kelly has not tweeted the phrase One Nation since June 9. And I'd been hearing rumours about this for quite some time as well, that things have been on the up between Craig, because indeed he last used the phrase One Nation back on June 9. Now, how this came to break was Friday night, where Pauline Hanson, in front of a crowd of 50 to 60 at the launch of Steve Bush, the Hornsby candidate for One Nation in the by-election for Matt Keane, had announced to the crowd here, I wasn't quick enough on the gun to catch it while it was there. I didn't think she was going to say anything interesting or exciting, but I just missed it. But she addressed the crowd, but I can say that myself and others heard it as well there. He's been sacked as National Director. He would not be the next Senate candidate. Now, whether he left or was sacked is still a matter of dispute, which I'll continue to try and get into. But that's a different matter entirely. It was I didn't expect this to work in my favor, but it was. That she ended up saying it here. Enough with it. So I came across this story. Well, again, we really are going back at least more than a month. And last Tuesday, I put it to Craig's team and I said, look, I've now got several sources who are telling this to me, well-established sources who know what they're talking about. I'm going to run this story. And I hope that I would have been able to speak with them. I really did, because I would have been streaming the Oberon rally, but it wasn't going to be. I never got the chance to sit down with Craig. He, unfortunately, if I can put it this way, he gave me the slip, and instead of interviewing Craig, I ended up interviewing Mr. Tripp. In this you just hear, this seat should have been occupied by Mr. Kelly. I set up for it. I mentioned to them, and on the Tuesday, his team said, just hold the story, and this weekend in Oberon, where this energy forum was, we'll sit down and we'll talk about it. I was like, great, you get to break the story with me, you get to talk it through with me, and you get to, this is how news stories should be broken that are big like this, which is rather than going through the he said, she said of what it is, this chair should have been filled by Craig Kelly explaining to everyone what happened, why it happened, and what's coming next. That's how. No, look, whether it's a PM or any scandal like it, I would like all of these stories to be broken in a way that it's open and honest in this way. And I was disappointed when he didn't, because the Friday came and it got to be too late. I'd set up and he was like, oh, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I was like, okay, fine, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And then Saturday came and it was a long day of filming. We got to the end of it. I was like, all right, I'm going to set up this beautiful set, which can I mention, does everyone want to appreciate how beautiful this set is? Anyone? It's beautiful. Look at lighting. Multiple. You see I've lit up the One Nation orange there. There's a nice light onto his shoulder. See the hair light. Very soft light on the side of it. Blurry background. It's 85 1.4. And it never happened. Had to chase him. I said, after the conference wound down, I said to him, come and talk about it. He didn't. He went over to the restaurant and he told me there's nothing that he could really tell me. I had to chase him to the restaurant for him to tell me after all of that, there's nothing that he could really tell me. So all I can share with you as to why Mr. Kelly may not be with One Nation is fairly well sourced up from some different people. From those inside the party, the view is that he did not deliver on what was expected of him. He was expected to bring professionalism, experience. He was expected to vet candidates. He was expected to be a director, as there are many people in this role like it. You want someone who's been there for 10, 20 years and being like, you there, new candidate. What do you say if someone comes up to you and says, do you care about climate change? And Craig is very experienced at this. He's well qualified to know how to handle tough media questions, to know how to engage with the public. He's one of the best, I'd actually say, from having spoken to him out in the field before. Apparently he didn't do that at all. Apparently emails to him went unanswered. Apparently text messages just didn't get done. The work wasn't getting done. So Pauline sacked him. Now, if I can understand someone who's spoken to Craig, and also from what I understand, is that from Craig's side, it was more mutual. I think he just wasn't clear what's going to happen next. He doesn't know what's going to happen with the party in that way, and it was just a poor fit. And from the history of One Nation, this is not uncommon. It is a hard party to try and fit into. There's a long list of names who've found it very difficult to try and fit within that party, and that needs to change. That really does. If this party is going to succeed, which unless something changes, it won't. What else have I got to try and share with you? Look, you probably want to know who the next Senate candidate is, because they've been interviewing several different people. They've even had one down to Canberra, who I can source from two different people that I've spoken to, one of which saw them in Canberra and was able to witness them, will be one Stuart Bonds. I am 90% sure that they are going to pick Stuart Bonds to be their next New South Wales Senate candidate. And I've reached out to him and I hope he'll speak to me about it sometime soon. But until he's officially nominated, I don't think he's going to be speaking. But I'm happy to share that with you tonight. I know Stuart reasonably well. Good character, and I think he's going to do quite well in doing that. Won't have the numbers of Craig Kelly, but if he can get out on the campaign trail and deliver on what it is, I think he will do quite well in being able to do that. And here he is with Malcolm Roberts talking about that. Now, I did get a chance to speak to Pauline about it on that night afterwards, because I came up to her and I was like, Pauline, can I just have what you told the crowd there just on camera? Can I get, I'm like holding my camera, can I just two. She was quite adamant. She's like, no, I'm not going to be saying anything about Craig Kelly. I don't want to talk about Craig Kelly. And I think she could see my face melt. And I was like, oh, is it that bad? Is it that? And she immediately response was, oh, there's no bad blood. Oh, I was like, oh, that's good. He's like, he's just no longer with the party. So that's from Pauline herself. But she wasn't willing to say anything more about it. Grabbing those stories. If there's anything that I can give to Leo or any other journo about this, is that when you have a story that you say you're going to run, don't wait for it. Just run it. Just do it. Don't wait for it. Say you're going to run it, and then that's it. Because with Craig, I should have said, hey, I did say I'm going to run this story tomorrow. But unfortunately, I waited for it, and then, look, it was a wonderful interview that I was able to get with Steve, but this was meant to be Craig Kelly telling me all about what was going to happen next with himself, what happened with the party, and address them directly. Instead, Leo got a good jump on it. Congrats to him. I think if I were to look at it from inside One Nation, you pulled Craig Kelly on in order to get his experience. And was he doing the work as a national director? Was he doing the work of give me just 1 second. I'm going to can talk on camera. I might have someone quite relevant on this on live right now. I might have someone who might be well placed to speak about this. I don't know if I can necessarily get them on camera, but I might be able to get them on speaker. Why? Again, you need to have that person as a director there, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Any party who would have Craig there would want him to be acting as a director, and it just didn't work out. Maybe that's the party side, maybe it's something else. Now, I can break something else on this as well, because I got to speak with Mr. Ruddock about this earlier today and ask him if he knew anything more. And he was able to say about Craig, he would be welcome to join us. So there's a ticket, Craig, if you'd like to join a new party, Libertarians. I'm sure you've got a much more direct line to Mr. Ruddock, but for everyone else, the Libertarians would love to have Craig. In fact, what else Mr. Ruddock said was he's more libertarian than anything else. And maybe that's true. Maybe that's absolutely right. In that one nation's more agrarian, rural. Maybe that wasn't a good fit. And maybe policy issues were what the barrier was. I don't, where else is he going to go? Where else is Craig going to go? I don't think Gerard Rennick, I don't think there's enough of an ideological gap for another party, and you just end up with a Rod Cullerton Great Australia Party or something else like that. A lesson for anyone inside parties is you've got to do the work, B, you've got to fit in. Just speakerphone. It's okay, just speakerphone. You have to work within other people, because the only party that matches your views is a party of one. That's the only party. You have to fit within a party which will have many differing, disparate, random different views. Mr. Ashby is currently running for re-election in Keppel and has not been involved in the running of the party as much lately. So, what can I say? What can I say about that one? 85 1.8 on a Sony full frame. Look, Rod Cullerton's relationship with One Nation is just one of those things. Give me 1 second and see if I can. I just got a text from what I'm alleging is the next candidate. I'm just gonna. Oh no, okay. He's probably upset because I put this to him, and he's just tried to give me a call. I tried to put this to Stuart Bonds that I understand from multiple people that he's going to be the next candidate. And he kind of gave me the shoulder off, and he didn't. He's like, no. So he was quite sensible. If he is being courted by One Nation, then he's keeping it close to his chest so far. But again, 90% confident that Stuart Bonds, who competed in the 2019 federal election and saw some 21. Stuart Bonds 2019. I'll have to go back to this one. Yeah, 21.8% of the primary vote in the lower house seat. Now, you might think that's not a huge number in and of itself, because it's only 21%, but the results of it put him almost ahead of the Nationals, and in a two-party preferred situation, I remember doing the numbers on this, it's about 1,500 votes would have needed to change hand for him to be the next member. So that was a huge result for One Nation in a lower house seat, 21.6%. This is a party that you regularly see, sub 10, sub 5, and you had quite a few different parties running there. So for the same reasons that he said nothing to me, despite me speaking with him and his staff and having quite a good relationship with them. I have quite a good relationship. Happy, see them, friendly. He is panicked as to what to do. For the same reason that he should have sat down with me rather than letting someone else break that story. He wasn't sure what to say. Because what do you say? You've had United Australia Party didn't move forward. One Nation now hasn't moved forward. Liberal Party didn't go ahead. it's not a great look, and you've really got to come up with a cohesive story on how to speak to it. And I said to one of his side, talk it through with me. What are you thinking? Talk it through. What are you thinking? What's your next steps? I'll be a sounding board, and I am happy to do this with any candidate, except Labor Left or the Greens, or maybe some Greens. Anyone in legalised cannabis outside of the kind of Greens party, but I will speak with any candidate about this and be like, hey, what you thinking? What's your best move? I'll talk to me about it. I probably give you a fresh perspective on how to frame what you're going to do. But by letting 6 News, and tomorrow it will be News Corp and Fairfax, by letting them frame, and this goes for everyone in politics, by letting someone else frame your story, you don't get to explain what happens. You just end up with a contacted Kelly for comment, breakup. You have to be the one to write your story, because if you don't, someone else will for you. And someone did. Someone did. No, an independent owned party, joined your own. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Well, if you do it, it's silly. It's silly. Yeah, don't look into it. Great. There we go. There's your story. So 16 minutes. I hope to get Mr. Bonds on at some point. Let's see if he wants to. No. Would I ever run? No. 2018, I think, state election. That was fun, where someone in the Libertarians asked me to have a go. I didn't take it that seriously, but I learned so much about politics. Not that long ago, I was a Labor supporter because I got back to the country, and I was upset with the Liberals. And I was like, oh, this is stupid. How could you mess up the NBN? This is ridiculous. What a shabazzle. But the issues we're dealing with today are far beyond any NBN, far beyond any negative gearing, far beyond any GST. Her succession plan will be James Ashby. I don't know why, but that's believed to be anyone else. Her succession plan will be to James Ashby. That's where that goes. If not that, always could be surprised. We are talking about plenty of horses in that race, but it will be Mr. Ashby. Immigration. That's it. Who lives in this country? Sydney is less than 50% Australian born. That said, most of the people watching this, your political enemies, are probably Australian born. Your most opposing value ideologues are probably white, inner city, green, left-leaning Australian borns who earn 3 times what you do and have families worth 10 times what you earn. Yet, immigration is probably, if you share my values, the number one issue. Make sense of that, if you like. Immigration is not the cause of most of your, mine, or most people's problems. It is a symptom, and it makes all of our problems, at the rates we're doing at the moment, worse, much worse. All of the time we end up with, and one nation is known for this as well, to blame issue on immigrants. And as I covered the migrant protest yesterday, for those who don't know, I went to a migrant protest yesterday, those immigrants were some of the most welcoming, wonderful people that I was very happy to see. There we go, good old fella here. But it was not, I think this was Muhammad and his daughter, lovely gentleman, did his best to have a conversation. He is not the issue. She is, broadly. And the policy that said to him, 587,000 people, 513 depending on how you count it, in the last 12 months rolling, come to Australia and you'll be rich. That's the issue. That's the problem. And it is Karens like her, who when I told her she was white, and to know her place talking over a melanated voice, was horrified. That's low. That's so low. That's low for you. I can't believe you'd say that. One of the only white faces in a region like that talking over a brown man saying he can't speak for himself. Yes, I'm a straw man. That's fine. What's KJV? I don't know. King James the Fifth Bible? Do I keep deleting my comments? No, I haven't deleted any comments so far. I just ignored the ones that I don't like because that's the internet. And I don't answer questions. I don't want to. Minor conservative must work together. Stuart Bond's probably best running in the lower house. He has a magnificent result. A little bit long, but yes. No, I think he's a good candidate. I think he speaks well. What else can I say? I think he can do the work. Yeah, that's it. It will be interesting to see what happened with the Muslim Votes Matter launch in Melbourne today. I haven't seen any video of it. If you have some, share it. But it will be seeing what Muslim Votes Matter will do as a force in future. It is, as of today, one of the top 10, top 5, top 3 voting blocks. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Advance Australia, Get Up, Australia Institute, Lowy Institute. Like, what do you want to pull out as something as significant as Muslim Votes Matter? I think within Western Sydney, it has a good chance of being number 1, the most significant vote mover in Australia. We're not talking about it, but that's okay. I'll talk about it with you. Great. Maybe? What is it? That's broad. Sorry, that's a little bit too broad for me. Marxist destruction of the nation. Well, that's it. For Marxism to succeed, you've got to break it all down and go ahead again. And if you're ever wondering about things like that, no, money did. We kind of let the money do that, and that's just how it is. Guys, there's the story. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening about what probably the most important right-wing leaders transition in power lately, really. I mean, Craig Kelly, you're looking at a lot of followers on social media and what have you. Again, my conclusion with him is he's just panicked about what to do next and he doesn't know what to say, do, or go in that way. And that's a pity. I hope this or the ensuing storm that will come after this, because, you're looking at a lot of impressions on this, right? You're looking, right? This is not going to go as a quiet news story. You'll see this on the evening news tomorrow. I hope this then has him go, right, I've got to grab this with both hands and I've got to set the framing for what I'm doing next. Maybe you go out into the wilderness, and this is probably my advice, is just take a break. Don't join a party. Keep lobbying for you. Just be Craig for a bit. Don't run as an independent. Don't do anything. Just take a break for a month, maybe a couple of months. It's okay. We're not going to have an election this year. It doesn't look like, all right? Just chill and work out what you're at. Go promote some other people. Don't blow this up with Pauline. Don't blow this up with anyone else. Just chill and keep lobbying for the issues and policies you care about, as you have been for the last 3 months, while you haven't been part of One Nation. That's okay. If you let other people blow this up into something, it will be. Because if you're not talking, it leaves a vacuum for all the rest of us, that especially people that probably aren't on your side, to fill the vacuum where your voice isn't. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next protest.